Hello, this tutorial shows you how to use the Primetime Retirement Village Exit Calculator. So it does exactly what it says, which is it works out what the deferred costs might be and also what you might give up in capital gain when you exit a retirement village. It's pretty topical, and the contracts are usually all different, so it's hard to compare apples and apples when you're looking at different retirement villages. So where you'll find the calculator, if you haven't used the accommodation calculators before and downloaded them, you'll find them within the Primetime tools and templates. So in the accommodation calculators, you've got the Primetime accommodation calculators, which holds a number of different accommodation calculators. So you just need to download that and work it up. So if you have used it before, you'll probably find it in your filing cabinet or on your computer. So in your filing cabinet, in your accommodation section, if you filed it in the right area, it'll probably be within the financial information of your filing cabinet for a lifestyle accommodation. Okay, so let's just have a look. I've downloaded some here. So here's your Primetime accommodation calculator. Now, sometimes when you open a calculator, you'll have an enable content button comes up. So that's about the to do with the macros in the Excel document. If that comes up, you just need to press that to continue. So this is the accommodation calculators. This is a worked example, and we just need to get through the start button and the terms. There's 4 calculators here. So here's the retirement unit exit calculator. It's on the second area. I always update it with the current date so I know when I've used it last, and then we can go. This is a worked example, so we can see I've put advisor details and user details in here. Let's have a look. So this has been populated. So what you might do is you might be having a look at a property, or you actually might already be in a retirement village and you want to know how much you might get back out of the retirement village. For example, if you're looking to move in 5 years' time or something. So, or even tomorrow. So here's the address. Now you put the date of the expected exit and put the date of the expected entry. You need to put in the cost of the property at entry now, and your estimated copy of the property at the exit. So you probably need to work out what sort of movement in growth that might be, and you might ask an accountant or a planner, an advisor, someone who has an understanding of these areas. This will automatically calculate the difference in the price of the exit and the entry. So that's the details of the property. You can see here the number of years of occupancy is automatically calculated based upon the date. Okay, so if I take that, if I make that 2025, it'll automatically update it. Okay. Now when you look at the calculator, look at whether they calculate the exit based upon full years, which in the case would be 9 years if it's in advance, or years and days. Okay. So typically to retirement village exits, there's a deferred fee. It's normally an annual fee, and it can be a straight 6% for 5 years, or it might be tiered, so it might be 6% for the first 3 years, 3% for another 3 years, etc. So there's a cap there. So it's either based on the cost or the cost of the property at exit. So effectively what it's sold for. So it's either at the cost or what the sales value is. Okay. You can put whether there's a cap in there, and that will determine your estimated cap. and then based upon that information, the exit cost estimate would be $146,000. So for the 8.75 years you've stayed in there, there would be a deferred fee of 146, and that would equate to a holding cost of about $16,700 a year. Now, quite often there might be a deferred facility fee. Once again, it could be annual or a one-off. In this case, we've put 3% for 5 years of cost, and we've put a cap in there. Okay, so we say, well, it's not going to cost more than $50,000. Okay, so if I take that out, you can see that it goes up to $67,500. But if the contract has a cap, then it'll cap it out at $50,000. Okay, or it might be a cap on percentage. So just work that out. A sinking fund, there might be a one-time sinking fund. So it doesn't matter whether you're in there for 1 day or 20 years, there might be a sinking fund of 6%. In this instance, 27,000. So now quite often there will be a market value difference whereby the village operator will retain a certain amount of any increase in value. In this instance, it's 40%. So 40% of $150,000, which is the difference in the sale price and the cost price, is $60,000. So they're going to retain $60,000 from the final settlement on the sale. And then there's other costs, so you might have some other costs. So in this instance, your average holding cost is $26,000 a year. I haven't calculated the market value increase in there because that's not a holding cost as such, just a forgiveness of the gain or relinquishing some of the gain. So the total contracted exit fees might be $26,000 a year over the term of that. So other costs that you might incur are agents' fees, and you can put that in at percentage or a value. Other costs, other fees and amount. So you can have other costs as a percentage, other fees as an amount. So if the agent's fee, for example, is an amount, you can put 0 in there, and it might be $20,000. They might say, well, we're just going to charge $20,000. Okay, so you can adjust that. So, and there might be a refurbishment cost. So all up, when we look at that scenario, there's about $29,000 in other costs. The net recoverable amount after tax is, so if we look at the property price, is sold for $600,000, less $287,000, less another $29,000, leaves you, the consumer, $289,000 in your hand, and your loss overall, which is the cost less the $282,000, is a loss over the term of the contract of $167,000. So once you've done this, you can print that off, and then if you're looking at another property, you just put the details in, the different contracts, and you can compare it to see what you can afford and whether one is markedly different to the other. I've done this exercise over a number of contracts using the same values in and out and using the same dates, and they can be markedly different. So where this feeds into, one of the things this also feeds into is in your changing residence scenario. So if you change your residence, this calculation works out what it will cost you before moving and after moving. And if you move to a retirement village, then that $26,000 of deferred costs a year can be built into that. They're not costs of cash every year, but they are deferred. Okay, and you can include the fees and levies which they charge you. So you can work out what the costs are both before and after moving on a yearly basis. So that is the retirement unit exit calculator. Enjoy your planning and happy retirement. Thank you.